And we've been with Category Commercial for a bit. All three of us have worked at outside commercial brokerages. I came from Transwestern, so I do have that experience. Alicia, John, both worked for Marcus and Millichap. So we're not just drinking the Kool-Aid, as a lot of people like to say about Keller Williams agents. We came from the outside. We saw the value in Category Commercial and how we could actually do a lot better running our own businesses. And we liked the culture and the vision of the company. So that's why all three of us landed at Category Commercial. In the past 6 to 7 months since we came into the leadership position in July, this is everything that we accomplished. I mean, it's phenomenal if you think about it. But what we told Gary Keller when he approached us last spring with taking on this leadership role, we said, we're all busy. We're not going to do this unless we can be guaranteed that change will happen and that we've got the financial backing to do it. And we've got to be able to make those changes quickly. I told Gary, I said, look, we've got 6 months to really get ahead of everybody else. And the main value proposition was education. Okay. And some of you sitting in the room today, maybe you've been in commercial real estate a long time, you're good to go. But actually there are a lot of people who are newer to KW Commercial or just newer to commercial real estate. And there's no ground up training out there. No ground up training that is so comprehensive that even my director of education in our market center, who's a trainer for the state of Texas, said, wow, wow, this is so robust. This is amazing. He's now a trainer for Nucleus. So we have Nucleus for KW Commercial rolled out today. And Nucleus is not just for newbies. We have over 120 courses for any level of expertise. But the main one that a lot of people want their hands on is what I call the boot camp. It's the 8-week boot camp. You can do it self-paced. You can do it live. The live version, by the way, starts on Thursday. And this all comes with your membership. Okay. So Nucleus can help you set up your business, set up your CRM. They can walk you through some real next questions. They'll teach you about all the product specialty types, challenges, and whatnot. They can help really build that foundation that you may need for your business. And I'm going to be completely transparent and let you know that even though I've been with KW Commercial and Keller Williams for quite a number of years, I was the one that came in already with a book of business and a sphere of influence and said, I don't need to do any of this. I don't need any models. I don't need to do whatever it is. I don't need to set up a CRM, a database. I will say that now working backwards, because I didn't do it, I regret that I did not get it established. Even though I have been very successful, just doing my Wild West approach of like, I'll figure it out. Now that I'm getting more systemized, it is amazing how my pipeline has doubled in just 45 days of getting systemized. So I highly urge you that even if you have been with commercial for a while, to consider taking the 8-week boot camp and see how they have you set up your business. I wish we had this tool back when I joined KW Commercial many years ago. So that's something that we rolled out. We also rolled out a mentorship program. It's $245 a month. For 6 months. This is group training. It's phenomenal. So if you're in a market center or a region or an area where you don't have the expertise that you need for your specialty, this is a great option for you. Okay. $245 a month. And I can send Amanda the slides. So you have all this contact information as well. We launched MAPS commercial coaching. We have actual commercial coaches. This is great if you have a pretty robust commercial business, or at least one that's on the rise, and you want to take it to that next level. This is where you can get one-on-one coaching from somebody who already has mastered commercial real estate, and they can give you kind of the hacks, the tricks of the trade. They can help you with your business and coach you through it. I will tell you that I had never had a MAPS coach before. I now have 2. And it was the best investment of my money and my time. It has helped tremendously, again, with my business and just getting things organized. This is what a lot of you, when I ask the question, how many of you logged into your RealNext account? So I'm going to tell you why do we pick RealNext and why are we pushing for you to attempt to adopt it? This is not a mandate, by the way, to use RealNext. You can do whatever you want. RealNext just comes with your membership now. Okay. So you're not having to pay any additional money for a tech platform it's a one-stop shop. So we will be we've already gotten rid of Prospect Now, Build Out. Our contract with them expires at the end of this month. Client Look will expire soon as well. And that is because when we all came into leadership, we said, we've got to try to be competitive with the big guys, right? We need to have that look. We're not getting it with our current tech stack. The current tech stack just had really kind of gotten us to status quo. We needed to up our game. And we also said there are too many logins. You know, everything's it's disconnected. We've got to get one platform that can satisfy it all. We partner with RealNext for that reason, because they offer everything. It doesn't matter what specialty you're in, you can use this. I'm a tenant rep broker. I didn't use build out. I didn't need to. I didn't use prospect. I didn't have to use any of that. I have my own systems. And now with RealNext, I'm super pumped because I'm like, wow, they have stuff in here for tenant rep brokers. There are forms in there, you name it, and they're adding to it daily. We've partnered with them in a very high way in that RealNext is tailoring a lot of things to KW commercial agents. So if you're going through this transition right now, trying to get your CRM uploaded or just try to learn RealNext, I highly recommend that you go to the training calendar, the commercial training calendar, and I'm going to show you that link in just a second, and watch some of the trainings from our agents who are teaching RealNext and saying, hey, look, here from an agent perspective, here's what you need to know. And if you're still having trouble and you're frustrated, my other advice is to just reach out to our ops team. And I'm going to give you that email address in just a second. So that's the main thing is, number one, we need to be more competitive. But number two, there's vision with this. If we can get everybody to opt into this, to RealNext, and use it for their business, we can now track our data. Okay. Right now, it's difficult for us to track the data in the current systems that we have. We know that command is an issue for most commercial agents. It is not commercial friendly, especially those who do leasing, such as myself. I have to create multiple opportunities just to get paid, right? It's not fun. And so with RealNext, we are working with them to create the integration that will go with command, meaning that our ultimate goal, hopefully within a year's time, is you should be able to do everything through RealNext. Press a button, it auto-populates into command, and you get paid, okay? So we don't have to deal with command anymore. You would just deal with RealNext. And the third piece, the third reason why we picked RealNext is the ultimate, the long-term vision, and that is, with now that we have over 2,400 agents, what are we creating if everybody is putting their properties through RealNext? What are we creating? We're creating a comp database, right? How many of us struggle to get comps? It's tough. And so if we have our own database of comps, then we can maybe eliminate some of the other platforms that we're paying for, right? Out of our pocket. And you know which ones I'm talking about. We can try to avoid having to do that because we're going to have all of the data ourselves. KW Commercial is one of the largest commercial brokerages in the country, okay? You may not know that, but that's the God's honest truth, okay? Think of all the comps that can come out of this. So that's one of the reasons for the big push, or the three reasons for the big push for RealNext. The other thing we launched, the product specialty groups. So if you already know your specialization, you've got your lane to go in. And I'll tell you, at Family Reunion, these were a hit. It was super fun. I don't know if any of you guys went to FR, but it was awesome. Anyone who's actually sitting in there right now, it was fantastic. And you've got your leader now of these product specialty groups. So if you have a question, you go to your community, you go to that leader and you ask, hey, how do I get plugged into XYZ? There's no cost for this. It's just a group. That's all it is. We're creating the connection, the connectivity that we have been lacking. Here's where we talk about mastermind. So look down here. I don't know if you can see my little mouse, my little pointer. This is what you need to write down. Okay. kwctraining.com. That is our training calendar. It has everything on there that you need to know. I recommend that every Monday morning, log into kwctraining.com. That's where you're going to see all of the classes that we have coming up. You can see what the product specialty groups are doing, where they're doing weekly masterminds. Get to know your fellow commercial brokers and create that connection. Okay. Training calendar, huge, huge, huge. Then the last piece of this is, what is our vision for 2022? So everything you just heard, that's all taken place, all been adopted and put into motion in the past 6 months. Phenomenal. 2022, the vision is the commercial playbook, which is going to roll out to market centers within probably the next 2 weeks. I think it's going to legal this week. What this is going to do is create structure in market centers that adopt the commercial model and want to have a commercial division. It puts those policies in place for what does it look like if a residential agent is attempting to transact commercial real estate, but they're not a member of KW Commercial. I think most everybody in there who's been a member of KW Commercial for a while has probably had a complaint about that, right? Where you're like, well, how is this, this residential agent, they don't know what they're doing and it's a liability and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But guess what? All of that is going to come to an end. We are going to recommend, here's what it should look like in a market center. This is a really, really, really big deal. Not only from a liability perspective, but from a branding and frustration perspective, right? Investment opportunities. You should get excited about this one. Those of you who have been, let's say, at other brokerages or know anything about development, for example, the typical buy-in to do a commercial investment, if you're with a big firm, is about $100,000 that you have to have as a capital injection. Gary Keller's vision for KW Commercial is for every agent in our organization to have the opportunity to purchase commercial real estate. And the plan is, and we don't know how exactly it's going to look, but the goal or the vision for it is that in your commission checks that you'll be able to say, just like with caring and sharing, every commission check, I want $100 put into my little holding account, like my little kitty for a commercial property. And that thing's just going to build up over time, to where you may end up with $10,000 in there. Then when a commercial agent has an opportunity to list a piece of commercial real estate, Gary wants that agent to ask the question to themselves, is this something our agents would want to purchase? And if that's the case, then we're going to put it before the agents and say, who wants in? And that buy-in may be as low as $5,000, $10,000. I don't know that piece. I'm not in charge of that particular division, but it is happening. So what is the ultimate goal with that? Okay, we're going to own commercial real estate, but we're going to own commercial real estate, meaning that KW Commercial agents, Keller Williams agents are going to own a lot of the commercial real estate around the country. Do you see where I'm going with this? And then what happens? Now suddenly we're the even bigger giant in the room, right? Okay. And so that's huge. We can then lease it, we can manage it, we can sell it. And on top of that, those property owners, where do you think they're going to come first? Because it's kind of almost like crowdfunding. When you have access to over 190,000 agents who could all be investors in a property, and you're a landlord or you're an owner of a property, where would you take your property first, right? If you want to try to sell it, you take it to us. So it's a big long-term vision that we're going to attempt to get it rolled out this year. So this is not all of what you're seeing right here on this page. This is not an if, it is a when. Okay, it's a win, like WHEN. The website, the KW Commercial website, we all know it's terrible. It's terrible. I say it's terrible. It's just not good. It doesn't have the connectivity. That is on our tech wish list for this year. And we already have a structure of what we want it to look like. So stand by for that. The marketplace. This is very important as well. If you are paying for platforms outside of what we offer with your membership for KW Commercial, we have a good idea of what you like, what the majority of agents like, and we are negotiating discounted rates for those platforms. So you still can, pay for them and still get them if you want them. But now if you go through the marketplace, you can get them at a discount. I can't tell you which ones they are until all those contracts are done, but there's some really good ones in that group. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that in the marketplace. And the last piece is marketing and branding. This is the year that we're going to tell our story. Okay. Again, the big guys, I'm just going to end right there. Let me take off the screen share. The big guys out there have been telling our story all these years. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're wrong. So when you make a phone call and you get talked down to, someone says, oh, you're with KW Commercial. Well, you're just a residential agent attempting to do commercial. Yeah, there is some truth to that right now, but that's about to end. But more so, they're wrong in that KW Commercial is actually a very large brokerage that should be taken seriously. Since getting into this leadership role, I've been all over the country. I've talked to every person that you can imagine, coast to coast. We have some phenomenal people in our organization that just nobody knows about it because we haven't been telling our story, especially we haven't been telling our story the right way. So this is the year of telling our story. And so if you look at it, what we did in the past 6 to 7 months, that was for you guys, the agents. For me, I'm right there with you again to help you build your businesses. You now have the tools, you now have the training, you now have the support to go out and do your business. And if you don't remember any of this today, all you got to really remember is the training calendar, okay, kwctraining.com, and this email address. Write down this email address, admin at kwcommercial.com. That email address gets you to our ops team, to Justin Champ, Shelby, Brandon, if you participate in anything with KW Commercial, you'll know who they are. That gets to them and they can answer any of your questions. So there's just a lot going on. You should be excited. Especially for those of you who have not, or who have been with KW Commercial for a while, maybe you kind of just got frustrated and said, oh, nothing's happening, whatever, I'm just going to go do my own thing. You're going to want to engage. So if you are not receiving the communications from us, from KW Commercial, email admin@kwcommercial.com and they can help get you opted back in. You need to be receiving the communications, because if you're not, then you're missing a lot of opportunity to get connected. So with that, I think we have about 9 minutes. Did you want to do any Q&A?
That's what I was going to say. Did anybody come with any questions that they want to ask? Adam?
Just from what you're talking about so far, real next, do we get the data research and navigator as well, or just the CRM at this point?
Oh, so that's a great question. So at Family Reunion, so we weren't gonna tell anybody until we got everything in place, but yes, RealNext is going to end up supplying data. So those of you who are very upset about Prospect Now going away, I can tell you that not only are we going to be getting data through RealNext, there's actually another platform that is that you actually, a lot of you probably already have and don't even realize it, that is also a data platform that we're going to be putting in place at no additional charge. That is combining some data from two very big giants. So you're going to have two options coming soon for data. Yes.
Compatibility with Google.
Compatibility with Google.
Yes. So we were laughing at FR because that came up. They're working on the compatibility with Google. Yes, that is in the works right now. And we were laughing because we were hoping that they would be done by FR, and I don't think that it was, but we actually had the guy who coded everything for RealNext there. So he said, yes, it's coming, that it is all getting done. Yes.
For national representation, are we going to have access to data for other cities besides our own?
Yes. Yes. And I will tell you this too, is that if you have a niche, what I would do is go to your product specialty groups, those leaders, and ask them, can you help me on this? Do you have the data for this? And they would just give it to you. You know, there's no catch. So if you're in office and you want to go do a deal, you know, in Oregon, okay, then I would reach out to John Merrill, Bruce Side, who's the head of office, and just say, hey, who do you know, or how could I get a hold of this additional data? So now you have some points of contact with that as well.
Go ahead, Brian.
How does KW Land interface with KW Commercial?
How does land interface with commercial?
That's a really good question, and it can be a tricky one. So land is really farm and ranch. So Casey Mock, it's funny because Casey's having me go to the land conference at the end of March, since it's in San Antonio, and that's where I'm based out of. But if the land is commercial, then it's us. If it's farm and ranch, it goes to them. So it's just two different things. It's farm and ranch apparently was a name that was already patented or something like that. So they couldn't say farm and ranch anymore. So they changed it to land, which of course we were all like, well, that's kind of confusing because what kind of land is it? But if it's commercial land, that stays with KW Commercial.
Do you have a segment in like the lane for land right now? I didn't see it on that sheet. Is there one?
Yes.
Okay. We'll
Yes.
find out.
Yes. So if you do land, if you do farm and ranch, then you will want to be a member of KW Land, and Casey Mock is the leader of that group.
So they do like commercial land. Is there a lane for commercial land?
Oh, that's what they're asking. Oh, is there a division? If there's, okay, I understand the question. You're asking if there's a product specialty group for land. Not yet, but we are adding more product specialty groups this year. And so I will make sure that that's on the wish list, and how Alicia wants to handle that.
Great. And I'm sure you'll have some volunteers here if you want it. All right, Ellen.
I just wanted to say we did have a chance to do a brochure already, and it came out really fantastic and professional looking. So, and it was, you know, not a lot of hoops to jump through. So the turning of the page is kind of cool.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yes, that you're talking about RealNext, making a brochure in RealNext.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll tell you, I'm right there with you in that I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got another tech platform we got to learn and figure out, right? So I put, I designated somebody who's on my staff, just in my office. I said, okay, Cecilia, you learn RealNext at a high level, and then you're going to teach the rest of us. And she came to me literally, it was like a few days later, and was just like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing platform. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is an amazing platform. Then at FR, when RealNext was there and they were doing their presentations, I was blown away. Here, I'll just tell you one thing that like I really took away from family reunion with RealNext. You can now, you can go, if you're at a property, okay, let's just say you're out there searching properties for a client, okay, Joe Smith, all right? And you're out there searching and you come across something, you're like, wow, this is a really cool office building, okay? So instead of you having to write down the address, figure it out, whatever, get into your CRM to add it in there, all you do is take a picture of it, boop, on the app, it uploads it into that contact and it tells you the address, the suite that you were looking at, the map, like all this kind of stuff, because it's through your location services. It knows where you're standing. And so it puts it in there. So you literally can drive around and just go snap pictures at properties and not write down addresses, and it loads it into their contacts. So everything gets loaded into that particular contact. That CRM is phenomenal. Like there's so many things that you can do with it. I'm just like, wow, I could spend days just learning it and trying to figure out how to really use it at a high level. So Alicia, our division leader for education and training, she's coming out with a series of RealNext videos. And one of them is a seminar on marketing, specifically on marketing and all of her tricks and trades to do marketing at a high level through RealNext. So just be on the lookout for that.
When I was with you at family reunion, you just like fired off like a few things that you did as an agent in the office surrounded, right? Because we've got 408 agents in our market center with, you know, less than 24 in the room. So what are a couple tips you would give them to capture opportunity? You told me something about putting something in the mailboxes, like do that.
Yes. So that's, yes. And thank you for bringing that up. I love to talk about referrals and literally could go on for hours about referrals. But one of the easiest ways to lead generate is through the agents in your market center. Okay. And I know that it sounds, oh, well, of course we know that, right? But do you really know that? And so what I would do, what I did was I pinpoint, kind of targeted, you know, who are the agents, who are the movers and shakers. And I just went to them and told them, hey, here's what I specialize in. If you get leads, you know, call me. Okay. So then they started sending leads my way. And as I closed deals 1 year, so the first year that I really worked the residential agents, I was excited that I paid out $65,000 in referral fees. I was like, wow, that's big. Okay. So then I just made a little flyer on, you know, on my a Word document and put all the names of the residential agents who referred me business. And I said, the total amount of money that I paid out in referral fees is $65,000. And it's money, you know, it's mailbox money. So I put that flyer in all of the mailboxes in the market center. That just took off like wildfire because I got my name out there. And then they knew, because I said, if you have a referral, send it my way. It's mailbox money, right? So that was years ago. Last year in 2021, I paid out over $250,000 in referral fees. That's how quickly that built up. Okay. And that was really creating a referral network within just a few agents. So like I have a few go-to agents that are my people and they know, okay, we're going to promote you and you're going to promote me. So that's one of the easiest tips. The second tip is to work the residential agents who are outside of your market center. And I'm not talking just with KW. I'm talking about every residential brokerage. Most residential brokerages, or a lot of them, do not have commercial people or a commercial division. And if they do, it may be one person, right? And they have a specialty, they can't answer all the questions. Those agents need someone to refer their business to. And so the favorite story I like to tell is last year, I got a referral from a RE/MAX agent in Houston. And I'm like, how did you hear about me? She said, oh, I heard about you through a Coldwell Banker agent in San Antonio, who's a friend of mine. And I'm like, well, how did that Coldwell Banker agent hear about? He heard about you through a Keller Williams agent. So you see how that chain went 3 times, right? Went through 3 people. And then I got the phone call and closed a $2.2 million building last year because of that. And that's because that agent from RE/MAX heard about me. But I also will go to residential events and meet other residential agents, you know, from other brokerages. It's such an easy way to lead generate. So Thank you for those questions. Yes, I'm sorry that I have to jump onto the next call, but you have my contact information. And again, if you have questions, please reach out to admin@kwcommercial.com. There is a solution. I can tell you there's a solution for everything, and we are working on even more things for years to come. So don't give up, give in, and engage, be a part of it, because it's pretty phenomenal what we're doing right now. We're very excited about it, and I hope that you take advantage of it.
I love the energy. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for joining us in Wilmington. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.